Hey, welcome to this Jersey Girls home. My name is Vicky. I joined the pantry challenge and I filmed making a week's worth of dinners. So you get to see how we eat dinner in this Jersey Girls home because we do it a little bit differently. It's not your traditional make a plate for your kids kind of dinner. I like to put a buffet style out of what everyone can choose from, and then everyone picks from that. And then if there's nothing they wanted from there, then they could have a sandwich or chicken tenders or something like that they can make on their own. But usually I try to get something that everybody likes so that there's an assortment of things. And it has been coming out to Thursday and Fridays being a lot of leftovers. We used to do pizza on Fridays and it just always seems to not work out this school year. So I think I'm going to make our pizza day on Sundays for the future, but we'll see if that happens. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button so that you can see all the stuff that goes on in this Jersey Girls home. And stay tuned for the end of this video where you will be able to see mini shopping haul. We did have some really great meals. Let me show you what we made. First up in this video, I'm gonna make Parmesan herb crusted chicken, pesto tortellini, cinnamon apples, and green beans. The Parmesan herb crusted chicken was made with fresh chicken. The pesto tortellini was made with pesto I made in the summer from basil grown in our garden. And I can link the video in the descriptions for all the stuff that we made in another video so that it's not too repetitive. And also because you're not going to see me necessarily make all these things because maybe I made it during the summer and canned or froze it so that I could use at a later time. And this is one of those things with the pesto. And then we had apples, so I made cinnamon apples, and then we had canned green beans from our garden in the summer. Before we got to this dinner, January 1st, we made dinner for New Year's. We made tacos, Aztec salsa, and cornbread. Came out really great. Everybody loved it. The next 2 nights, we had what we call potluck, which is our leftovers, a salad, smoothies, or egg sandwiches. Just depends on what everyone's mood is. Each person can pick what they want. Potlucks are very catered to personal preference, and it's about using up what's in the fridge that needs to get eaten or has filled our fridge and is taking up space that no longer needs to take up space. So we eat up our dinners. I get a little break from cooking full-on meals. And everyone really likes it because you get a little bit of everything, or you get something that maybe not everyone wants that you want. So it is a nice way to break up your week and give you kind of a break from the kitchen work. January 4th is when we started this meal. To make the Parmesan herb crusted chicken, I needed to mix a 1/4 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, and I added my rotisserie chicken seasoning and voodoo mix. That is what I mixed into my pie glass pan you can see there, and I'm just going to prep these tenders, then coat them. I'm not going to dip them in any egg or oil because we're not making this like a breaded chicken. We're just crusting it with these herbs and cheese, and it comes out really flavorful. Not sure if anyone else has noticed that in the grocery store, a lot of the chicken has been very rubbery and stringy and tough, extraordinarily large. Those chicken breasts are disgusting. And for a little while, we kind of got out of eating chicken, which is not like us. We have chicken quite a bit. I finally found a brand that I particularly like. I think it's called Harvest Land or something. I don't know. I'm having very good luck with this chicken. The chicken breasts are not large, hard, chewy. It was very tender. The breasts are small. This here, I'm doing tenderloins, but in another batch, I had done the chicken breasts. They seem like they're normal size and soft, tender, exactly what I want to eat. I am working on getting the white tendon out of the tenderloin because it's just gross. Remove it, and then I don't have to worry about any complaints with chicken because even I don't want to eat it if it has that in there. Years ago, I don't remember chicken having this. I've never had to prep my chicken before like this. I don't know if they just stopped butchering it where they would remove that, or they're just really bad butchers. Not really sure. In the past couple of years, I have had to do that myself. I just find that a paring knife or a beak knife works the best to get that out. I've seen the things about where you just pull it through the fork on like a TikTok video or something, and I don't know how they do that because I've tried it and it did absolutely nothing. And if I just like take a knife underneath of it, and it will just come right out. But anyway, we're going to cook this in the cast iron, which is why I had turned the cast iron on with some tallow and olive oil in it. The chicken is cooking on medium-low heat. I got the pan hot before I put the chicken in. That way we're getting this nice crusty golden chicken, but it's not burning on the outside by the time the middle is cooked. And we got our pot of water on the stove for the tortellini, and the green beans are on the stove. And now I just pulled out this frozen pesto that I'm putting in some hot water so that it can thaw quick enough to get in and melt into the pasta when that is done cooking. My first batch of chicken is done, so I'm gonna now add some more oil and put in the rest of the chicken that I had breaded while I had the other chicken cooking. And after I put this in, then my tortellini is ready to go into the boiling salt water. By the time all of this finishes cooking, the pasta and the chicken, it all came together at perfect timing. Just chopping up my apple to get some cinnamon apples with some cinnamon in it. It's delicious. My kids love cinnamon apples. And then I turned the burner off, but I put this pesto in and then stirred around to warm it up. I needed to melt it a little bit more, so I did turn the burner on low. And then as I broke up the chunks of pesto, once they were melted, I turned the burner back off. And it came out lovely. Dinner was a success. All the bellies were happy. We're on to January 5th. We are going to make spaghetti and meatballs with garlic butter swim biscuits. Remember all that pasta sauce that I made? Well, it's going very quickly. We made our classic tomato sauce that was our favorite last year. And then I came across another recipe called roasted rustic Italian sauce, and that is by far my kid's favorite. So in the small pot, I have the Amish pasta sauce cooking with some frozen meatballs I tossed in there. And then in the other pot, either fettuccine or linguine. One of those. I think it was like a thinner linguine with the rustic Italian sauce. In order to make the garlic swim biscuits, we need a half a cup of melted butter.
Half a teaspoon of garlic, a teaspoon of parsley.
Then mix this up really well and pour straight into the pan that you are going to bake your biscuits in.
2.5 cups of flour, tablespoon of sugar, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. I usually do 1 cup of milk, and 3/4 a cup of buttermilk. If you don't want buttermilk or to add buttermilk, then you can just add some vinegar to your regular milk. Okay, so then you just mix this up. And these biscuits, you don't have to be so worried about over mixing like regular form biscuits. Super easy. Just get that mixed up. And then we're just gonna dump it in there. Don't worry about the butter and where it ends up. Okay, we're just gonna put it in the oven for 20 minutes at 425. Then came January 6th when we had Cajun lentils, roasted broccoli, sweet potato wedges, chicken, and pasta. Another day, another dinner. I have some broccoli that was purchased over the holiday season and we didn't get it all cooked. So I really want to get this broccoli roasted. And this broccoli is already cut up and washed in the bag. So all I needed to do was just dump it right onto my tray, add some olive oil, salt, pepper, and all-purpose seasoning. And I know our dinners are much different than a lot of other people. I do not make my kids eat what we are eating. If they don't want to try it or they don't like it, they do not have to consume it. I know that goes against a lot of other people's household rules, and that's fine. You can do what you want to do as long as you're feeding your kids. I don't recall ever being forced to eat something I didn't want to eat as a child, and I can tell you that at least 50% of the stuff that I eat now, I would have never touched as a child. And the list is probably actually higher than that. But I am a very adventurous eater. I like a lot of foods, and a lot of foods that I love to eat as an adult, I did not like to eat or even look at as a child. I really just don't think there's any need to pressure them to try different things. I do notice as my children are growing that they become less picky as they get older. My least pickiest child would eat anything you gave her as a young toddler, now is one of our pickiest eaters. So I just think that it kind of goes with the phases of ages, what they like and what they don't like, and that's fine. We will get through those picky stages while still enjoying good food. All I needed to do with these sweet potato wedges was to peel, chop, add a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and cinnamon. Super easy. It's about a half a box of pasta that was specially requested to go with dinner. With their new favorite sauce that I will make a video in the upcoming garden year to show you how to make. And another easy addition to this homemade dinner is Cajun lentil soup. It is from the canning book suggested from the Seasonal Homestead, her Cajun cowpea soup that they like to make. It is the same exact thing, except I used lentils in this. I hope to grow enough cowpeas this summer to use cowpeas as well, but this is really, really good. It is super tasty, and the lentils work just as great. I'm gonna add some chicken strips to the air fryer for another easy dinner item. And you know, we also made an Italian style pasta sauce, and that came out really, really good and flavorful. My kids really like that too, but it's such a small batch that there's only I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 pints. So we'll have to make a lot more of that next gardening season. And that's a wrap. Another delicious homemade dinner in the books. Unfortunately, even though I'm not contagious, my cold symptoms were still bothering me, and much more today than they had just recently. So when we went grocery shopping that morning, I grabbed a chicken from a rotisserie chicken and cut all that up. I cut off the chicken breast so that um, my family could have that if they didn't want the soup, or if they wanted more chicken added to their soup. And then I took the carcass and broke it all up. I removed the backbone just because, I don't know, it doesn't look so appetizing to me. Um, so I broke that all up, put that in this pot, and then added some water and a bay leaf so that it could simmer for a few hours and get a nice, delicious bone broth from it that would be super nurturing for me and my cold. And don't forget, at the end of the video, I will show you the other items that I picked up when we went to Costco. And oddly enough, my taste was going away again. It was so bland. Everything tasted so bland, but it was still there. So when I did season this soup, I added a lot of seasonings and it still tasted terrific. Okay, so we're trying to make some nurturing soup here. So we have carrots, onion, and celery cut up in here after having boiled the chicken carcass for a few hours and cut up some bits of chicken from it. So we have this in this nice golden broth. I'm going to season it, let these veggies cook, and I'm going to make some noodles. Okay, so I just added salt and pepper, and let's see, what else should we add? Let's add some turmeric, because that's good for you. Let's get some garlic powder in here. Some lemon thyme. Don't need any stems. Let's see, maybe parsley, and I don't see anything else that's making me think let's get more in here, so I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll put some lemon in at the very end. And now we're gonna make some dumplings noodle style. Okay, so 3 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. We added that in. We're gonna add an egg and a cup of milk. We are gonna mix this together. It looks beautiful. And then over to my wooden cutting board, I added some flour, and I'm going to spread this out and make it a thin, or as thin as I could get it. It kept kind of wanting to bubble up. It was very hard to stretch out. These are just my favorite handy DIY items. Let's see if it works here. It took a little extra effort and a little extra rolling than normal. And I'm just going to break out the big guy here. As soon as I got it as thin as I could, I used my pizza cutter to make slices so that they were somewhat noodle-like, and dropped them right in there and let that cook for a little bit. I think it took like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes for it to be cooked through. You can tell it looks good. It looks cooked, and it is like puffy in the middle. It definitely hit the spot that night. Cheers to the last dinner in this video. I made steak with balsamic onion jam topping it. So delicious. Even if you added some cheese on top of that, that would have also been really delicious. But literally, all you have to do is just add some seasonings to your steak. Whatever you have, just add it. If you have homemade, that's terrific. I used a buttery steak house seasoning, and then I'm just adding some salt and pepper. I'll bring that over to my stove and cook those on my cast iron in some tallow and butter until those are really nice and well done. Like medium well done. We don't like very raw meat or very red meat. Then I'm poking holes in these potatoes and I'm going to cheat and put them in the microwave to bake them quickly. It does work. It doesn't taste as good as if you were to put them in the oven, but I didn't start this soon enough where they would be done when everything was ready to eat. So in the microwave they go. There you go. There's a little quick hack for you when you're in a time crunch. Then I dump my broccoli that is left over from the other night onto my cutting board and chop this up really good because I'm going to make a broccoli cheese sauce with half of it to go on top of our baked potatoes, and the other half I will put in the fridge to add to other foods, or if it doesn't get eaten, make a quiche. But the next 2 nights, we do end up consuming it during our potluck dinners. Okay, so I'm adding a 1/4 cup of butter to my cold broccoli, and we're going to do this on low so that the butter melts and the broccoli slowly warms up instead of burning. I get my cast iron on the stove with some tallow in it to get that started. For the steaks, it needs to be hot before the steaks go on. When that's good, I get those steaks on the pan and let them brown on that one side before flipping them over. In my other pan, my butter has melted and I add about a 1/4 cup of flour and mix that all around so we get a good roux started. And then I just kind of eyeball adding the milk in until it's at the creaminess that I want. We had some leftover Velveeta cheese, which we're not a huge fan of, but since we needed it for a holiday recipe, we have a little bit to use up, and so I decided that this would be the perfect recipe to get that into. And then, as promised, here is our little mini grocery haul. We picked this rotisserie chicken up when we needed to go to the store to get some more dog food. I have 2 dogs that eat a lot, so we always get 2 bags at a time. I grabbed some bananas, cucumbers, and celery as well. Thanks for watching this video and hanging out with me. I hope you liked it and you choose to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.